it's 2020, or maybe you're watching this in early 2021, it all still applies. It is one of the hottest markets, and we've seen that doubly so in IPOs, initial public offerings. And maybe you want to know, how do I trade these? How do I catch the next big IPO? Today I'm going to talk about that. Hey everyone, lead trainer with Stocks to Trade, Tim Bowen here. Be sure to like, subscribe, and if you're on YouTube, ring that bell. And then also, if you get a second, definitely share with your friends. We'd love to spread all of this knowledge as much as possible. We have a ton of content on YouTube. Want you to be notified, and if you ring that bell, I go live every trading day as well, so you can jump in and get those trade ideas that we're talking about each and every day. Then, if you're ready to take that next step, definitely check out the Steady Trade team. It's an amazing mentorship program where we get in-depth, twice daily webinars every single day, breaking down technicals, fundamentals, chart patterns. I mean, it runs the gamut. I've done over 2,500 webinars in almost 5 years now, every single day. Check it out. Look forward to working with you. All right, today we're going to talk about IPOs, and you can see, actually, funny enough, we're recording this video because DoorDash IPO'd yesterday and ended up opening double or twice as high as it planned on opening. You can see just a few minutes ago, Airbnb opened up at 140, or I'm actually opened at 150, dipped as low as 144, as high as 165. I believe this was originally going to price in the 50s. So that just tells you the appetite and the desire for these IPOs. And I mean, we've been seeing this. I mean, and this isn't new. I'm just talking about DoorDash because it was yesterday and Airbnb because it was today. I mean, Palantir is one if you're on the pre-market prep, man, we nailed Palantir live on that pre-market prep at 10. It went as high as 30. It's getting ready to go back to 30 at this point. Chewy, Peloton. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Some of these have been the very best trading opportunities. So yeah, I'm talking about today's IPO, but this has been a year-long thing, and I expect it to continue to happen. I mean, the next hotly anticipated IPO, depending on when you're watching this, is Robinhood. Many of you might have Robinhood. You might have a Robinhood account. That's the next one that should be opening up, soon. I think maybe late December, early January, depending on when they finish it. Probably going to be another hotly anticipated IPO, and they're just going to keep coming. It's going to keep coming and coming. And I look at the volume, the interest in markets. That's one of the things, a lot of people will be like, oh, the crash is coming. But, I mean, the volume we've seen, it's just completely unreal. I remember this morning at like 7:30 a.m., I was in the Steady Trade team, and we had a stock trading like 3 million shares at 7:30 in the morning. And I'm like, oh, it's only trading 3 million. I think back to, years, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we would be excited if a stock traded 1 million shares the entire day. Here I am, oh, it's only trading 3 million at 7 in the morning. So that shows you the appetite. And listen, you can say stocks are overvalued. You can say the stock market's too high. But at the end of the day, if someone's willing to buy, if you got enough buyers and they're willing to pay a higher price, doesn't matter if you're selling your house, a coffee mug, or whatever it is, if there's a buyer that's willing to pay a higher price and there's volume, that's standard supply and demand, you'll get these moves. So let's talk about actually how to trade one. I kind of teased you quite a bit on what we're looking for. But so you can see Airbnb. Again, I'm going to kind of use this as an example. We'll head to the whiteboard here. So couple rules right off the bat. Number one, you may agree or disagree, but this is an old man with 15 years of experience talking. I say don't trade IPOs day one. I think you're just playing guessing games. I mean, you can say, oh, I could have bought Airbnb at 140 and sold at 160 or whatever it is. But the dilemma is you can't chart these stocks. And I think the best way to approach the market is to have a heavily technical-based approach. And we talk about chart patterns all the time. Check out the archive. You'll see hundreds of videos talking about patterns. That is the best way to predict the market, in my opinion. And when you're talking day one, you don't know. It's just The stock's all over the place, and you can't draw those support and resistance lines. And the most important thing is you can't pick a resistance area to risk off of, to stop off of. Because remember, if that stock pulls back on you, you need a level that's a smart area to stop out at. And you can't do that with a day one IPO. So now what we're going to look for is, I expect Airbnb to do well. On an anecdotal side, I've got a buddy that has several Airbnbs, and he was worried with the pandemic, and ultimately he had his best year ever with his handful of Airbnbs in 2020 in the pandemic. I mean, I know that's purely anecdotal. That doesn't, we're not, I'm just pointing out that Airbnb isn't going anywhere. So I expect this IPO to do well. But what we want to see is that spike, and then days or even weeks or even months of that consolidating area, that basically building that base where the bid and the ask, they're consolidating. You're building that base that traders are going to then risk off of. Then what we're going to look for after that big initial spike, normally these things pull back, and that's the mistake a lot of newer traders make. They get all hot and heavy on day one. They buy, stock gaps down, they become a bag holder, and then they stress over it, don't know what to do. They got their buying power tied up. I mean, it becomes a mess. Check out the Steady Trade team, by the way, because we talk about these concepts all the time, okay? And maybe I'll save you from being a bag holder and being stressed out with these trades. But then what we want to do is see that base build, and then that perking area out to that breakout high, a 52-week high. Now, obviously, an IPO, it might be a multi-week or a multi-month high, but we're looking for that breakout because now we know that first of all, everybody's green. That's the beauty of buying an IPO breakout. When it's at all-time highs, whether it be a week later, 2 weeks later, month later, 2 months later, everyone's green. Okay, anybody that's held through whatever the stock did. Say it was, I drew kind of a less choppy stock, but let's say it was really choppy before going back. All of these guys and gals, everyone's green. So now the fervor's back. It's the 1920s party, everybody's dancing and singing around the punch bowl. Everybody's happy because everybody's green. Then it's also showing up on everybody's scan. I mean, every short-term trader, every day trader is like, hey, Airbnb's at 52s. They're smacking that bid. They're bidding it up. And there's a high likelihood, nothing guaranteed, there's a high likelihood all that buying comes in, all that action comes in. It's going to push that stock higher. You can sell for a short-term day trade or a short-term swing trade, and you can repeat and repeat and repeat. I mean, a lot of these stocks break out, consolidate, break out again, consolidate, break out again. I mean, so you can trade this pattern. I mean, again, Palantir was one of the best ones. That thing just broke out, consolidated, broke out. I mean, 3 or 4 different times in the last 4 months. One of the smoothest trading IPOs that I can remember. And then the beauty of this, and this is where ultimately the core of this lesson and the biggest thing I want you to take away from it is, now we have that smart level to stop out at, okay? If this stock fails, breaks resistance, the idea is busted, you now know, hey, now the inverse. Before, on the breakout, everybody's green, everybody's partying, the punch is flowing, everybody's excited, buy, 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 buy. When that resistance breaks, exact opposite. Now you got a bunch of early buyers, you got a bunch of people that are now red on this position, and they want out. They want to panic out. So now that tells you, hey, that's where I want to stop because I don't want to be the last guy out. Okay, last guy out, turn out the lights. Okay, you don't want to be the last guy shutting the light switch. So when that resistance breaks, you stop out. And hey, it's a losing trade. Losing's part of trading. You're going to lose and lose and lose and lose. But if you manage your losses, keep them small, and your wins are 2 times, 3 times, 4 times what your losers are, you become a consistently profitable trader. You can succeed over time. So that's the great thing about that, waiting for that consolidation to stop out at and being a smart IPO trader. You're not jumping in day 1, not even day 2. You're jumping in day 10, 15, 20 when the stock proves itself. That's what I want you to do. And biggest thing is, focus on all the criteria I talk about all the time. Hot sector plays. I mean, Airbnb is hot. I mean, it's at the end of the day, I mean, Airbnb is a technology company. I mean, you can agree or disagree, but I mean, they don't own any real estate. Well, they might have some holdings, but I mean, it's a technology company. It's like a Facebook. It's like a social media company to me. It just exists out there in the cloud. People love that because of the idea of infinite growth. I mean, ultimately, at some point, I mean, they're not going to get there, but I mean, Airbnb could rent every house on the planet. I mean, there's infinite growth potential there. People love that idea. They get fired up. And if you can get that chart pattern to align, that's the trade you make. Now, let's talk about, before I'll take this home, but let's talk about if it completely fails. Maybe you're watching this video and Airbnb is $5 a share. I mean, Blue Apron. Okay, look up Blue Apron. Woo! And one of the biggest disasters of IPOs ever. That stock did bounce during the pandemic, but look at Blue Apron prior to February 2020. That was a disaster. But it never did this price action. So you would have never been in it. You would have never been that multi-year bag holder. You never would have said, oh, trading doesn't work. Buying IPOs doesn't work. If you approach them correctly and wait for the chart to confirm your thesis, you can profit over time. So, all right, everyone, I hope that helps. It's going to be a wild year. I just think, I think back to all these IPOs that I've already mentioned, all of them upcoming. This is going to be a strategy. And add in SPACs, okay? Special purpose acquisition companies. That is in essence an IPO. It's just a different way to go an IPO. Those have been exploding. With the SPACs, use the same strategy. And if you're really looking to get into the real nitty gritty of this stuff, check out the Steady Trade team. Again, I'm in chat every morning, 6 a.m., talking trade ideas, talking chart patterns. We were talking about Airbnb this morning, and everything's archived. You can search it. You can review it. If you miss a webinar, everything's uploaded immediately. You can go back and watch it. All my notes are accessible. It's a great way to learn trading. Check it out, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.